Never liked this series? Don't worry, this one plays like Golden Axe. I'm Araknie and this is Warrior Blade Rastan Saga episode 3. Sounds epic and also exhausting to say. Like I said earlier, this game is a huge departure from the Rastan games. This straight up is a beat 'em up where platforming doesn't matter at all, unlike the first two games. And I'm glad for it. I hate the first two games, especially the second one and its quarter-eating jump sections that you have to forcibly fail to spend more quarters on it. Real Kusoge tier material, the number 2 entry. Huh, how appropriate. What's the story here? It's basically Conan the Barbarian, including a male sidekick and a female friend. You want a kingdom, you want to be king, you need to steal. You happen about a bunch of assholes on your way. Some want to defeat stuff, other are the ghosts of a dead kingdom. Not good for the taking, that one. Until you find out that this dead region was made like this by followers of Baphomet. So you'll kill a bunch of demons and go around destroying soldiers. Until you find yourself by pure chance defeating a great evil spirit that owns these lands of whatever this place is. Yeah, the names of the locations of this ruined kingdom are impossible to remember. The reign of black magic by a 12 letters named magician that is impossible to pronounce. All that stuff really is impossible to remember, but sure, at least they are dark fantasy sounding. They got that right, I just can't stick in my mind the names of stages. But yeah, this is a typical 3-button beat 'em up. In reality 2, considering the third one is a special magic that drains your health. Fuck that. Same old after all. What's interesting is this being a super early tentative of branching pathways for the genre. Probably the most famous one that could be considered the first. Doesn't count if nobody knows the game or it's an insult to humanity. I've already played Battletoads, thanks. But they don't really branch for one reason. You can select these 4 places, but they all are made so you can reach a treasure and get a stat increase. It's permanent until you finish, so even if you die, just don't end your credits and you'll get this stuff. That's important since all 3 characters have different stats and they are apparent and declared in the character select screen. So getting these is good since you won't get them to the same power anyway. The items are the same for anybody, so by the final stage you'll have their strengths and weaknesses even more accentuated. Rastan is super mega strong but extra slow like he pooped himself. Maybe he's just a fan of Trevor Belmont. He's actually the worst character. He's not hard to master, he just sucks if you miss more than 1 hit in a row. That recovery hurts to get right. Dewey is a master ninja that is so fast it's a mess to make him stop. If you can chain attacks in a row it's good because as you have seen they throw at you many enemies without a slowdown. So getting from one to the next makes it so that you can manage to kill them without getting ever hit. But you will be on your first playthrough with him because it's just that fast. Sophia is a range whip and Morningstar user. She is the most balanced one, surprisingly. You start varying difficulty with every single enemy, but with this treasure-based upgrade system you get your best statistics always put on the spot in the best ways. And all 3 of them can get some random events. They are called Bad Fortune and happen at the end of the stages. They happen at random and when I played all 3 characters I managed to see one of each of those extra levels, like this at least. That was very lucky, I think. Well, better for me, good 2 hours well spent without repetition. It was a pity in a weird way because those stages are the most unique and interesting ones. They have the most standout enemies and locations, stuff only present in those, while all the normal places, including the final one, share more or less the same enemies. I just don't understand how can this be possible. Once I discovered all the secret levels I didn't wanna play this anymore, that's terrible. And you'll have to do these zones, they're mandatory, you don't get to choose. How weird it is to think that I would have loved this game if it had the same creativity of the bonus zones. Since when is that a sentence you're gonna hear on this channel? But the third Rastan game can do this and more. It's always title, by the way, they are just weird, I get it at this point. Because I honestly like the visuals, they are also greatly aged, and the choice to use only 2D layers helped in that. It's all drawn and it's beautifully dark while keeping it varied and interesting. There is a sapient use of colors that recognize that the real world is not brown but a barren land still has locations. Even if abandoned, that used to be more vibrant. To give you that sensation, they made it so that each place is a bit desaturated but not too much. So when something really colorful like a green swamp or an active volcano arrive on the scene, you realize that those are alive places. Lack of human life doesn't mean lack of life. I hope the art director went to do great things, not necessarily gaming related, because this is just an art piece. Plus, it's a dual screen game. I had to do some programming in Python to make it run on my arcade machine. That's the trick to having a lot of enemies on screen at the same time, because the two screens just divide the processing power between each other, never having to concentrate on a single one. Very smart idea, also gives it an edge and a unique feeling compared to most other games. Musically was a bit disappointing. They tried to take inspiration from Conan the Barbarian also in this field, but succeeded only with one piece. It's a 6 minutes melody that is fantastic and varied, but also keeping a prog rock feel. It's what you've been hearing for most of this review. There's another short track that has mysterious vibes and a personal enjoy a slower musical piece, but that's about it. The others, even the longer pieces, try to replicate the epic symphony of that Araknie movie but don't reach it as well. They instead fall into anonymity, to the point that you don't even notice them while playing. That's not good for an arcade game, even more so compared to their console counterparts. A good soundtrack is what you use in the demo mode to attract customers, so I say ouch to that. Let's just say that Warrior Blade Rastan Saga Episode 3 is a good game, don't get me wrong. This is a 7 out of 10. It would have been a masterpiece if the levels had been taken care of and had much more thought than you could imagine. I guess it's just really hard to make a world come to life. Not everybody can be like Capcom and just make me star level quality stuff, it's just not possible. If you wanna see me play the games that I will review plus some extra stuff, catch me on Twitch at Araknie Retro. It's my natural habitat, you see? Until next time, ciao ciao!